What is up, Mets fans? Welcome back to another episode of the Mets'd podcast. Series win out of the All-Star break in Philly. First time since 2022, I believe.
Yep.
Wild, crazy. We're going to talk about it, as well as all the trade rumors, all the noise going around with the New York Mets. Francisco Lindor is at the top of everybody's list to talk about. If you want clicks, you got to put Francisco Lindor in the title, which is why we did it, because we're getting in on our clicks now. Thank you guys for clicking on us. Thank you for watching. If you're listening to us on Apple, Spotify, Google, appreciate you. Download, subscribe, give us a rating. We do appreciate it. Without further ado, James, let's talk about this nice little series, honestly, out of the All-Star break.
This was a great series. This was a nice moment to kind of appreciate where like the positive parts of this Mets team are. We saw a great start from Christian Scott, saw a great start from Nolan McLean. On Sunday specifically, we saw the lineup really lean on Alan Rangel, as now I get that name correct. And we saw the top of the order get on base at will. We saw Francisco Lindor go a triple away from the cycle.
Don't say it too loud.
Don't say it too loud. We saw Tyrone Taylor, Luis Torrens, the bottom of the order, get in on the action as well.
Francisco Alvarez.
Every single person except Marcus Semien had at least moments of a very good series in Philadelphia.
Yeah, I mean, ending the series with, an 0 for 5 and 4 Ks on the day, a little golden sombrero.
Couple of runs scoring position as well.
I do feel like we're probably going to see less and less of him as the season goes on. He's really not any better than Brett Baty, and Brett Baty's not particularly good right now either.
At least it's worth giving Brett Baty at bat to see what you have. I was almost shocked that Semien came off the injured list to start games this weekend.
Didn't we get told 6 to 8 weeks?
Whatever
it's like 3.
It is what it is. Let's talk about positive things. Positives.
Christian Scott. Let's start with him.
Oh, Christian Scott's so good. Christian Scott is I'm going to start calling him, I'm going to start doing this for a couple other pitchers in the league who I have this distinction for. He's a rocket ship pitcher.
Okay, rocket ship. Explain.
He's very good. He has a very solid foundation, but he has a clear thing that's still stopping him from getting to the next level, and that's having weapons for left-handed batters. We saw it in this game, as effective as he was, just breezing through the first 5 innings, running into trouble in the 6th, the Kyle Schwarber double, lefties coming up. You take him out, you bring lefty in to face the lefties. Christian Scott, to me, is a rocket ship pitcher because once there are enough weapons to actually get the lefties, and it seems like based on what he has and the kind of pitcher he is, and just the way that he pitches, those will come. The cutter looked good. The curveball had some moments of flashing. We haven't seen the splitter really ever in a while, but I think all these things have a chance of coming together eventually. Once he has 2 pitches to get lefties out, he's closing in on being close to a front line, like top 2-3 pitcher, instead of right now still stuck at a 4 or 5.
I mean, the whole thing about it is that fastball is so ridiculously good. It's an awesome fastball, and the fact that he throws it so much up in the zone, and we're now seeing Nolan McLean do that, which has helped Nolan McLean out a lot. Love to see that. And the sweeper is unbelievable from him. Like, those 2 pitches are absolute dynamite, but like you said, that is against righties. If he can get that pitch against the lefties, you're right, he does just become a frontline starter. That is the difference. But here's the great thing about Christian Scott, is that the difference between those two, I feel like, is not crazy, where, like, he still has a 2.87 ERA, and he still doesn't have that pitch. Like,
it's crazy.
That's what's nuts about this, is that I feel like the version that we're seeing of him right now, while there can be improvement, if you told me that Christian Scott was like this for the Mets for the rest of his career and his time here, I'd be thrilled. I'd be over the moon.
Dude, we opened the season a lot of time ago, a lot of very different thoughts in our mind ago. Christian Scott wasn't even a guaranteed part of this rotation. We didn't even see him as that. And now we're through this part of the season, catastrophe as it may be, and he's been the second most consistent pitcher in this entire staff. Like, even this game, like, shrouded in smoke, in a game that probably shouldn't have been played. Wherever ESPN was like, we have to play this game. Whatever.
Friday night was worse than Philly. Did you see that? Their smoke levels got even higher on Friday. No, but I'm saying,
really?
The next day was actually worse.
All right, credit to them then. Back to that, but like he was nasty. Like, that fastball was in the zone. It was missing bats unstoppably. The sweeper, he had perfect command of it. Things like the frisbee, and I think this start more than the last few, like, he got that cutter in on the lefties really, really well. Like, he got a really ugly swing and miss from Schwarber. He got a couple of uncomfortable swings from Marsh. Like, it was just, he got it to a point where it was close enough where those guys were offering at it, and then by the time it got to them, they were looking ugly swing at it. Like, he has everything. Like, when I watch Christian Scott, I'm just filled with joy of him, 1, being back on the mound, and 2, seeing the weapons that are there, that are ready to take the next step forward.
Yeah, if he gets that next pitch, it's going to be crazy. He's a very, very fun pitcher to watch, something that, like you said, coming into the season, the expectations were pretty low.
Absolutely, just open. Whatever he gives us is great.
Well, low expectations of just like pitch, health. That was kind of what we had coming into the year. Be healthy still is, but with the performances that he's giving us and the fact that the Mets seemingly win every time he's on the mound, that's his role this year. It is nice to watch.
No, this is nice to watch. And he's amazing. In that game as well, Francisco Alvarez, 2 home runs off the break. Just nice to see him get confidence. Things we have to hold on to through the second half. He's one of them.
Hole. Only hit him ninth. He plays so much better anecdotally hitting ninth than when they hit him up in the order. And I do think a possible theory behind that is because the top of the order for the Mets, whether Mets fans at home want to believe it or not, it's very strong right now. It's a strong top of the order.
Shockingly.
Francisco Alvarez has to get pitches in the zone. One of the things that slowed him down a little bit this year is he's chasing. He's doing some of that stuff. He's getting pitches in the zone now because the guys behind him can hit. They want to face him instead, and he's absolutely doing damage, which I love to see.
So again, this is very small sample bullshit. I'll tell you guys the plate appearances as I read out the OPS plus of Francisco Alvarez in different spots in this in the order. So when Francisco Alvarez hits third, it's happened 5 games, 21 plate appearances. It is, where's OPS? It's a 195 OPS.
Like just OPS, not OPS plus.
No, it was TOP. I didn't realize it was advanced all baseball reference stuff when it was
195 is bad.
195 OPS. Fourth, 258 in 12 plate appearances. Still nothing. Fifth, 34 plate appearances. 856. Great.
Okay.
5-0, good spot for him. Sixth, 43, 543. Seventh, 28 plate appearances. That's 970. Again, great. For some reason, eighth, 33 plate appearances, 646. Ninth, 68 plate appearances, over 1,100.
I knew it was so good. I knew it. Anecdotally right. I love it. But
it's just
there is something with him, I believe, though, like when he gets lower in the order, because we've talked about it before, when he does get moved up, he gets very, very, very aggressive, like more aggressive than he ever is. He tries to hit the 12-run home run every single time.
Yeah, and I think that, like, that's kind of adorable when you're a first, second, third-year player, but now it's like it's time to become a piece of the core. And I still think with the bat specifically, he will be and can be a piece of the core, but continuing struggling defensively, continuing to basically split time there with Luis Torrens because he's so poor there. You have to hit a lot, to become worth it now. Because there was discourse about Francisco Alvarez changing his position this weekend. It went around. I don't know. The Mets played. They had the day off on Friday, then there was the rain delay on Saturday. The conversations began. We'll get to more of those conversations later because they got out of control. But he doesn't really have another position because he's like 5'10".
I don't think he'd be particularly good at first base. If there's anywhere he's going to play, I'm not even kidding, based on our interview all those years back with the Cyclones, talking about his youth days, I think his best options are playing second base or left field.
Third base, that is really it. But realistically, if you want to be a really, really good defensive team in this league, he probably will not do that. So a lot of the rest of the season will be about him taking strides on both sides of the ball. We'll have to watch defensively, but nice out of the break, starting the right foot, starting style, 2 big home runs.
Yes. That's kind of it, right, for this game? Shout out Brett Beatty hitting well again.
Yeah, Brett Beatty still hits well. I just wish he could play more instead of other guys who are getting those reps.
Yeah, game 2 was not particularly great. Sean Manaea on the mound just kind of got smacked around, didn't really have his best stuff. Mets couldn't touch Jesus Luzardo. Really wasn't much in this game. It was kind of a quick breeze over, and of course, Kodai Senga came in and stunk it up again. I floated this on my channel, James. Let me get your opinion. Mm-hmm. 2 guys that we think got nothing left in the tank. Would you make a Kodai Senga for Christian Javier swap? Just change it. Why not? We'll take your bad guy. You take our bad guy.
Yeah, but definitely. But I feel like Kodai Senga just do more money, so the Astros would never do that.
Look at Javier's contract right now. He weirdly, I think, signed one of those extensions. I think he's due I think Senga probably is due a little bit more money, so, okay, you even it out. You pay whatever it would be to even it out. Would you make that switch?
Yeah, probably. But I also feel like at that point, oh, my God, Christian Javier, he got $64 million guaranteed. Christian Javier is making $21 million this year and $21 million next year.
That's what I'm saying. I think
that's a good moment for everyone out there who always thinks those arbitration avoider contracts always win.
This one did not.
Yeah. No, there's a good few that do not, so it's a good reminder right there. I actually would not do that. I would not pay Christian Javier more money next year than Kodai Senga.
What if they evened it? What if they gave us money?
The Astros are giving us money.
Yeah, in this fairy tale world.
Theoretically, yeah, sure. Why not? Because I feel like it's just so broken here, but there's no way that would ever happen.
All right, just worth a shot.
That's worth a shot. But I can't believe he's making $21 million next year.
I know. When I was doing my one player for every team that's going to get traded, I was like, oh my God, they've got to be dying to get rid of him at any cost.
No, it is. But Saturday, Manaea has a very unique opportunity against the Phillies. That's a very left-handed heavy lineup that doesn't platoon as much as most teams in baseball, where you can pitch well. And I felt like the first time and a half around the lineup, like he actually was on top of it. I thought his sweeper looked nasty early. He started missing a lot with the sinker late, especially against the righties. And the Phillies started scoring runs. This and that happens. You weren't going to sweep them. We could win a series in Philadelphia. You're not going to sweep them. But the issues again came when Kodai Senga came into this game because the guy has nothing like that.
No.
He got Manaea out of the 5th inning, and then he came up in the 6th. The first pitch of the inning, Bryson Stott hits a laser beam off the wall for a
Which
triple.
says a lot because that guy doesn't hit laser beams off of anybody almost.
I think it more so said, and Ron and Gary were talking about this in the booth, that it seemed like it really got in Kodai's head. It seemed like he tried to be much more precise after that, tried to be a little bit more just careful about the way he was pitching. And then when that was happening afterwards, everything fell apart. Like directly after that triple, it was 2 consecutive walks to Trey Turner and Kyle Schwarber. And in those 2 consecutive walks, neither of them swung the bat.
No.
They were both very ready to get pitches out of the strike zone from Kodai Senga. And then after that, Bryce Harper hit a single. And then Kodai and the Mets defense did well, besides for an error from Lindor, to actually keep more runs off the board. But like, you could just see it in his eyes, in his body language. Once that triple was hit, he didn't really have anything to get through that.
If you're watching us, you already know we're wearing Mack Weldon right now as we talk about a great brand that makes things so comfortable and easy to wear. But if you're listening to the show, let me tell you a little bit more about Mack Weldon with my friend Eric Kratz.
Yeah, it's comfortable. It's light. It's summertime right now. For me, though, they cater to what I need, tall clothes. Normally when I buy tall clothes, it's like something that's cumbersome and boxy. It still fits incredibly well, super light, perfect for the summertime. They got me all covered.
Comfortable performance material can be yours. Mack Weldon is the spot. Don't sweat the heat this summer. Feel as effortlessly cool as you look with Mack Weldon. Go to mackweldon.com and get 20% off your first order of $125 or more with promo code FOUL. That's MACKWELDON.com, code FOUL.
No, he pitches like a skittish cat, which I guess is just every cat. They're skittish. They see what they can do. If it doesn't work, they back away again. Like they just completely get away from it. They stay distant. It feels like Kodai Senga is he's scared to be on the mound. It doesn't feel like he's a guy who wants the ball, which is, like bullshit speak, but it also feels evident.
I think it could be bullshit speak sometimes when it's about a bullshit situation, but I think this situation where it's completely fucking correct. Like
he might even tell you that.
You feel it. Like he threw 45 pitches, he got 4 outs.
That's like difficult to do.
Like, and again, the middle of the Phillies lineup, good lineup right there.
Yes.
Tough to get through them all, but it was a complete slog watching him in that 6th inning. And it just felt like he didn't really trust any of his stuff in the zone. He kept trying to throw ghost forks to get guys to chase. They weren't chasing, and then he kind of didn't have anything left after that.
If you know that the pitches aren't going to be in the zone to begin with, it's really easy to not swing at those pitches when they're not in the zone.
And it's a shame. Like, he's one of the guys that I feel like is an interesting conversation this trade deadline. Maybe just for us, because maybe every single other team in the league has circled him. Like, we're not trading for him.
It's possible.
But it's just unbelievable to watch where this has devolved to in the last 3 years. That's the guy, how incredible he was with velocity and cutters in the zone and ripping the ghost fork off of that. Whether it was just the league getting used to one of the most unique pitches in it, he's so far away from being effective right now. It's, again, horrible to watch.
The drop-off is faster than I could have ever predicted for a guy who looked like he was getting better as the year went on, which is not something that you normally see. He is an absolute shell of himself. And again, if the Mets were playing any sort of competitive possible postseason baseball, there's a 0% chance he'd be on this roster. He'd be in Syracuse.
No, and I think this was a moment. Again, these have happened over the last few months, but Gary, Keith, and Ron doing this weekend together. It's almost sad when these guys are in the booth together now for such a bad team.
It is.
Because they just feel a little, sluggish isn't the word, but they just feel a little downtrodden because of how much this team has destroyed them over the year. And they were yapping. I was like, oh, man, they just seem really tired of watching not even this guy pitch, this team play. Lindor made another few errors in this game. Like, it just was a bad vibe watching this team on Saturday.
Yeah, and we've seen this before with this team. There's bad vibes in many of games throughout the entire season, throughout last year. I don't want to say body language is not the right word, but the energy sometimes is just so lacking and the focus is so lacking. And I do think part of it is like when you see a guy like Kodai Senga go on the mound and that dude doesn't have any focus, how do you stay sharp in the game when you know the pitcher on the mound is not even giving you an opportunity to do anything? It's like, it's a little like basic what I'm saying here, but like when you see shit on the field, it kind of causes you to also lose focus.
And also the situation when the Mets made more errors in this game. Lindor made an error. Bench made an error. Semien made a misplay that wasn't ruled an error. Like, it just was another game where this team felt very uneven.
Was this the throw down to first base, too, that went past, and the throw to third base that went past, and that scored a run?
The double error out of play with Bryce Harper and the bases, yes.
Yeah, it's unbelievable.
It's just sloppy baseball. And again, it's funny I don't want to focus on this because the Mets won this series. We're trying to be positive for the first, 15, 20 minutes of this episode. And when you came out on Sunday, the team played great, like especially
fantastic,
fueled by Nolan McLean, who came out ripping. Francisco Lindor from his first plate appearance ripping because he's a good baseball player who hits the ball really well.
And we'll talk a lot more about that.
Yeah, he's played 20, 30 bad games this year. Oh no, can't believe that. But McLean, it's a funny thing that's happened to him this year, whereas he's had some spurts of not trusting or having just inconsistent breaking balls, which is the thing that got him to the major leagues. He's gotten so much more confident, so much better at blazing his fastball at the leathers, which is something that he didn't have. He probably had it his whole life, but when he got to the upper minors and we got to the majors last year, it's just not a pitcher really relied on. It's not a pitcher used to miss bats. And watching him do that today, when again, the sweeper wasn't really there, the slider was kind of hit or miss, the curveball had some nice whiffs, but not every single time. Same as the last few starts, the fastball was there, and he has so many ways to get guys out. Like I don't know. It's a lost season, so it sucks, but it's a really, really impressive rookie season we're watching right now from Nolan McLean, and one that should be really, really appreciated by Mets fans.
Yeah, I need the Mets fans to stop doing the flip-flops so quickly, because I know even on this podcast we talked about Nolan McLean's struggles this season at the point where he was struggling, but we did not ever switch the thought even on the type of player that we thought Nolan McLean could be even for the rest of the year. Our biggest concern was hurt. Is he hurt? Because the stuff just doesn't really seem to make sense. But you saw people on Twitter, oh, you thought this guy was going to be a frontline starter. You thought he was going to be your ace. You thought this and that. It's like, I mean, you look and all of a sudden it's July 19th. He has a 3.3 ERA as a rookie. He's going to be fighting for that Rookie of the Year with J.J. Weatherholt if he keeps it up on this pace. You keep saying that's crazy. But like, he is ridiculously good. It might not have been the way that, the simpletons that say these stupid comments had expected it, but also at the same time, that's why you're an idiot and you don't actually know baseball. Like, you have to give these guys some patience. You're allowed to have bad weeks. You're allowed to have bad starts. He had, 5 bad starts? If you have a 33-start year, that's a really, really good season.
Of every pitcher with at least 100 innings this season, Nolan McLean is the 20th lowest ERA.
It's fantastic.
Just right there, end the conversation. This is one of the few best pitchers in the league.
And he's still a guy who's relatively new to pitching.
And it's a guy that's still kind of learning, start in and start out, what he's doing in terms of strikeout minus walk rate. He's the 13th best. In terms of Sierra, we're getting early on you guys right now. I feel like he's probably pretty good. He's the 14th best.
Wow.
It's a fantastic rookie season. It's one that it sucks that it's going so under the radar. And I think another reason why it is because when the Mets were really flailing and totally falling apart at the seams, he was pitching poorly as well. But by all accounts and every single measure, no two ways about it, he's having an unbelievable season right now. One that, in terms of rookie starting pitchers, could wind up in the pantheon of rookie starting pitching seasons. Completely missed up.
What if I told you that he was doing this all in games that don't matter anymore because the Mets season's over? Does that change your opinion?
What does that have to do with him? He's pitching in every game he pitches. He can't hit. I mean, he actually can hit. Maybe he should hit, but
Well, that's what I was told about Francisco Lindor today, is that he got hits against a minor league pitcher. So I guess that's now what we're going to start doing, is we're going to move the goalpost and look at quality of opponents only for him, not any other player in the league.
All right, we're basically at 20 minutes right now. I have one more comment, then we'll go right to Francisco Lindor.
Okay, fine. I'll save it.
Last comment. Like a month ago, we were doing the thing where we were just playing all of our guys and hitting them in the same spots against lefties, right?
Yes.
Very annoying Saturday that we pulled out a lefty lineup, a lefty lineup with a bunch of platoons that have not really hit all season. I know objectively Eric Wagaman should be able to hit left-handed pitching, and I was grateful that Mark Vientos was not in that lineup. Again, he's injured right now, so it's just that for whatever that may be. Francisco Lindor at the leadoff spot was terrible from the right side. Bo Bichette was terrible against a left-handed pitcher. Francisco Alvarez in the 4 spot, like we said, just his eyes got really big. Marcus Semien makes my eyes bleed, but I would like for these young players to have a modicum of consent. And Bench was in the lineup again. He didn't hit well, but like at this point, what happens game by game doesn't matter much, win or loss.
No.
It's to give Lindor some reps lead off, fine, whatever. But just let these guys have a little bit more consistency in what they're doing day in, day out without platoons.
Yeah, I don't think we need to really force the envelope for a lot of the guys on the Mets roster to get into games, especially where they're either not going to be a part of the future plan or shouldn't be a part of the future plan. So like
unless you want to get Wagman some more reps and see if he is the future.
I can tell. I got an answer for you, James. I've got a good one. I don't think he is, as much as I know what we're both believing in, which is those crazy high barrel rates still to this day. But no club can make it work, so it's probably just not going to work. And I want to see the young kids play as much as possible. Watching Marcus Semien play on Sunday it looked like it hurt to play.
It hurt me to watch him play. Like both sides of the ball, I'm like, I don't know what you're doing. There were multiple strikeouts, runs in scoring position. It looked like he was behind on fastballs again, telltale sign that he's old.
Blown by from the Phillies bullpen. You had Rangel. What was his first name?
Alan
Rangel, who is not particularly good. Tim Meza, who you should hit. You're a righty. Max Lazar, Seth Johnson. Like, these are the guys that you were struggling against. You didn't strike out against Duran. So, like, what's up? What's going on here? Also, why didn't he rehab?
There was not at all 2 games, right?
What the fuck?
That was a really serious injury. There was also a post that was up by Master Flip the Goat on Twitter about how the Phillies post-game guys, who are electric, they are bizarro Mets, like us and them. We're living in the same world on different sides of it.
Yeah, it's incredible to be in the Phillies situation and then see their reactions, be like, what would they do if they were Mets fans, if they had to talk about the Mets every day?
And a lot of very bad losing seasons consecutively, easy to forget. But even after everything Nolan McLean did to them last year, they were very reluctant to, as Master Flip said, give him his flowers after the game.
But James, you see his ERA?
Really good, 3.3. It's incredible.
I know. Yeah.
But Bryce Harper at the World Baseball Classic, Keith Rad mentioned it. I listened to part of this game on the radio that at that game he told Nolan McLean, "You're the best pitcher I saw last year."
Whoa.
Yes.
That's a sick comment. Oh, my God.
Unbelievable, yeah. And when you remember that game, he pitched against them in September. That's the best game still Nolan McLean's ever pitched.
It's like pounding my chest and the Mets were out of it.
Right? But no, Mets were still very much in it then. But those guys were basically saying the Phillies are swinging at bad pitches. They have to be more like aware of the breaking balls coming in. And he was completely unbelievably nasty. And again, we're going to tell you, keep telling you guys this. As Mets fans, a couple things we're going to hold on to.
Yes.
It's going to be Nolan McLean in the mound, Christian Scott, Carson Bench, AJ Ewing, Lindor, Soto, Bichette, I guess. But that's those are our guys right now. That's our core, and we're moving forward with them.
This episode is brought to you by FanDuel. Baseball fans, the MLB season is in full swing, and FanDuel is giving you a chance to call your shot with daily dingers. Joining the action is easy. Just make your free pick on who's hitting a home run in their game, and if you're right, you'll get a profit boost to use on your next bet for a chance at extra winnings. It's just another reason why FanDuel is the home of home runs. So are you ready to play your game? Head over to FanDuel.com/podcast to get started. That's FanDuel.com/podcast to opt in for daily dingers and make your free pick on who's hitting a homer. Play ball and swing for the fences on FanDuel, an official partner of Major League Baseball. No purchase necessary. Opt-in required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable profit boost tokens. Restrictions apply, including any token expiration and max wager amount. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call or text 1-800-GAMBLER.
Yeah, which I guess now we'll talk about that core conversation because God forbid a day goes by where Francisco Lindor trade conversation doesn't exist. Because it feels like every single day, every single hour, after every single game, he's getting asked questions about being traded. And, I mean, Will Salmon and Ken Rosenthal, those are the guys that are going to trust the most. They have no inclination that he's going to be traded at the deadline. They didn't make any sort of comment about the offseason. That still seems very much up in the air, which I think would still be stupid. But we're getting, like, conflicting reports, and it feels like there's a witch hunt out. And it kind of feels like Francisco Lindor feels like there's a witch hunt out, too.
And it kind of feels like with Francisco Lindor having his no trade clause, as we start to have a brother conversation here, if you wanted him to be more willing to waive that, you make this more of a witch hunt. You make this uncomfortable for him because, of course, a guy that's been here for 6 years now, who's played some of the best baseball in the history of this franchise, who's an absolute bona fide Hall of Famer, I don't think Mets fans want to hear that, and he is.
Oh, yeah, I know nobody
He's
wants
one
to
of
hear
the
that.
5 best shortstops, I think, in the history of the sport.
Without a doubt.
He's, for some reason, he wants to be run out of town. I understand if you want to look at this from a purely analytical standpoint. When you look at the rest of Francisco Lindor's contract, sure, he will probably give negative value for the rest of the contract. Probably.
And negative value meaning that when he's 37 years old and he's getting paid $34 million, he is not going to play to the level of a $34 million contract. But this is also that, like, stupid conversation that we have now in sports too, where it's like, well, then you'll never have any players because you have to pay these good players these big contracts, which again, not a problem for me. I don't care. It's not my fucking money. It doesn't matter to me whatsoever. But like, then Francisco Lindor never would have been here. So you never would have had the good years. His best years are behind him, but that doesn't mean that he is not still one of the best shortstops in baseball. And I think that is also very much getting lost in the conversation. People hear that he's never going to be as good as he once was, and that means he's bad now.
Yeah, I mean, last year was basically one of the best seasons he's ever had in his career.
Yeah.
And like maybe after the calf, like of course, over the last few years, we've seen Francisco Lindor's defense deteriorate at a regular amount for a guy in his early 30s. Like there's not many, we say this a lot.
One of the best defensive shortstops to now he is a good defensive shortstop.
He had one of the best 5-year stretches for a defensive player in the history of the sport.
Yeah.
And again, that's not where he is right now. That's fair. We have to say that. So the aging curve for a guy who started that high usually is a little bit kinder. The aging curve is very, very, it hurts. And it comes for every single person. But usually the guys who are this type of inner circle Hall of Famer, it comes to them a bit more slowly. Right now, you guys look at Francisco Lindor's stats. He got his 15th RBI today. It looks bad when you look at his stats, but like he's played 43 games. He had, and I was really proud of Kai Correa for mentioning this with Chelsea Janes after the game, that Francisco Lindor had it was shoulder elbow surgery in the offseason. He got to spring training, broke his handmade bone. Then right when he got to the season, pulled his calf muscle. He hasn't played consistent baseball, had consistent reps up until the end of last season, which was awful. And then the team traded his friends, which is a weird thing that I think a lot of people who are on the wrong side of this take that wrong side of this, however you want of this. For some reason, they think that Francisco Lindor was behind trading the guys in this team. Not true at all.
Doesn't seem like that's true at all.
I actually think probably the opposite is true. I'm sure he was actually upset about losing, especially a guy like Pete Alonso, who he's been with forever, who he very openly was really close with. Same with Brandon Nimmo, who's been his guy since he was on this team. Neither here nor there mentioning those names, but just been a tough season so far. Team sucked. He's been hurt a lot for the last 6 months. It's really, really unbecoming to see how sharply Mets fans have turned on a guy that is such an unbelievable player, so good in the community. Whatever you want to say about the locker room, that's probably the one thing you can actually get on him with the most. But it's honestly, it's kind of cringe what Mets fans are doing to him.
Yeah, no, it's embarrassing. It's worse.
Yes.
I mean, that's exactly why it is cringe, because you're now having Mets fans fighting with Mets fans. I'm fighting with people on Twitter because, of course, I have to defend my boy, and people are getting
every day.
Yeah, like I'm going to fight for the dude. It was a year ago that people were like borderline going to revolt against the team because he wasn't named captain. After 2024, people were talking about retiring his number, and then those same people are now the ones who are like, ship him out. He's getting old. He's not playing well. I can't even believe that people have seen less than a COVID season sample this year and think that that's the player he is literally going to be the rest of the year. I don't know how that's even possible.
No, I honestly have no idea. Is it
like, where's it
amnesia?
coming from? Like, how have we gotten to this point? Because I really did think that the greater, like, we'll just talk about baseball fans as a whole. I did think we are getting smarter as a whole, like the group of baseball fans. But then for some reason, Francisco Lindor has broken certain Mets fans' brains. And you look around and you try and find what the pieces are, and really none of it particularly adds up.
No, it's not. It's weird. And then people bring up comments like, again, him and his wife got rid of the players in the locker room. Not true.
Why would they have that power?
Obviously, you have psychosis or some other deeper mental issue. Not true. Then people bring up, again, the thumbs down. That was 5 years ago.
And he apologized.
That was 2021. What were you guys doing in 2021 that should be held against you right now? Like, truthfully and honestly right now. And
a lot.
The question is right now about just Francisco Lindor purely objectively what the next few years of Francisco Lindor look like. And for the next 5 years after this one, he's due $32 million a year, 32 and a half. So it comes out to $170 million, 160, 170?
I think it's like 160.
160, 163, whatever.
Yeah.
For 5 years.
32 million?
32.47
okay,
million a year.
yeah, that's going to come out to like 162.
Yeah, so, yeah, at the end of that, Probably he's underwater in this contract in terms of what he's going to produce wins above replacement. Probably. I think he probably has, if he's at complete perfect health, which we don't know because calf injuries are fickle and they're weird.
Yes.
A 4 or 5 win season, then another 4 win season, like going down a half win a year. A 5, a 4.5, a 4, a 3, a 3.5, a 3, a 2.5. Like,
still going to give us around like 15 WAR in the next 5 years, most likely. It seems pretty easy.
Pretty easy. It's pretty good. It's a good contract. It's a contract that you're really not upset paying on the back half when a guy's been so productive over the first half. And that's the best part about when we traded Francisco Lindor and we signed Francisco Lindor. It feels like there's this combination of Wilpon psychosis where Mets fans see a big contract of a player who's not one of the best players in the league anymore, which is fine, and you feel like you have to trade him. But also it's the idea of the Mets didn't pay Pete, they dumped Nimmo, so now you have to do the same to Lindor. When those two guys aren't even in the same stratosphere as him.
If we
as a baseball player.
If we as a fan base can't differentiate the difference between Pete Alonso, Brandon Nimmo, I'll group them together as a player. That archetype of player or those archetypes of players and what Francisco Lindor is, will be, was, all that kind of stuff, I think we've completely lost the point. It's actually like comparing apples and oranges. They're not the same. They do very, very different things.
And if you had to pick one of those guys that was most similar to Lindor, especially that Nimmo hasn't played center field in multiple years, it's probably Pete Alonso because
which is crazy.
Bad. It's true.
Yeah.
And let's say at the end of this season, Francisco Lindor's contract was up and he was demanding a 5-year, $170 million contract. Different conversation. You probably don't ink that at the moment.
You probably don't ink that, and you probably see, I'll be honest, you probably see close to that 5 for 150. Like Pete Alonso just got 5 for 155.
Yes.
And everyone in baseball knows that Francisco Lindor is going to be a more valuable player over the next 5 years than Pete Alonso, given health.
And nothing against Pete Alonso. Everyone in baseball knows only one team was even close to offering that level of a contract.
Yeah. Like, it's just crazy that we have to have these conversations. And I have a feeling we're going to have them until the trade deadline, and then probably even after the trade deadline. Because
way after, the whole offseason.
Because every fucking piece of content now is just about Francisco Lindor trades, except for the big names that I actually care about, truthfully.
I mean, what's your actual take on that? Why do you think this has become so pervasive in national media and within some of the small Mets media members?
Okay,
not small.
So
small's the wrong word. Some of the less nationally connected Mets media members.
I think there's three things have happened. One, Steve Cohen opening his mouth and saying the shit he did on the John Heyman and Joel Sherman podcast stirred all this shit back up again. The fact that he publicly acknowledged that Lindor and Soto might have had an issue last season with each other at the start of the year, that was really, really, really fucking stupid. That was like an all-time Mets PR so tight. How did that happen? How does that happen? How do you not see the video and tell them to edit it out? Whatever it is. Second, I'll save my crazy theory for the end. Second, we're in the relative same world as all these people. Their jobs are reliant on getting clicks. People clicking their articles, people clicking their videos, people clicking their tweets does generate revenue. The more eyes that get on something, the better it is. And there is nothing hotter right now, especially in what is a dead trade deadline, than talking about one of the best shortstops in Major League Baseball history, or at the absolute worst, in the last 20 years that didn't take steroids, being on the move from a big market team that everybody loves to absolutely dump on. So it's a perfect storm that Steve Cohen said this. You can now have the Francisco Lindor trade rumors, bring up all the other bullshit, lie to the people that you're talking about, sometimes even about what the deterioration of Francisco Lindor could look like. And then three, a lot of this is being propagated by SNY. SNY is pushing this shit like crazy. Couple different things with them. One, SNY knows that their numbers are going to plummet very, very soon. Once the trade deadline happens and the Mets are officially giving up on the season, when you see the good players no longer exist on the team that were once here.
Well, they will still.
Yeah, but the viewership is going to plummet. They've got to cash in big time right now. This is their moment. I'm watching Sports Night at SNY at night because I want to, unfortunately, see what people say, get angry, and then yell at my TV like a crazy person. But it's working. That's what's getting me in there. So people are watching. It's getting clicks, generating revenue. Two, can I throw out a really fucking insane theory?
100%.
All right. Crazy, galaxy brain. I'm obsessed. The Wilpons still own SNY. Wouldn't they love to just fuck with the Mets right now and just be like, you know what, fuck it. Why not? Let's put out some information that is just going to drive people insane. We don't have this team anymore. Why not? They own SNY. I would hope there's journalistic integrity to not do that. But at the same time, why not? That's a theory. If they're going to make the same
100%.
ridiculous claims, I will too.
No, and that's kind of feels like where it is, because it feels like every single day there's ridiculous claims being thrown left and right about Francisco Lindor, the New York Mets.
And then, especially on Twitter, if you're an account that's like called
cesspool.
any sort of generic ChatGPT name that you got, where you're like, give me a baseball Twitter account name, you'll see like fast pitch down the middle or at whatever it is. Francisco Lindor doesn't actually want to stay in New York. Who's telling you this? This is made up.
The funny thing is that's definitely the opposite.
What?
Like that Francisco Lindor with a full no trade clause in his contract definitely wants to stay in New York for the duration of his contract and probably sign another small one after that.
Notice how it's been glazed over how, I don't remember who broke the news on this one, that someone close to Francisco Lindor says he wants to stay in Queens. He's going to stay in Queens. He wants to win as a Met.
Solution winning.
Not being talked about, though. You can't talk about that.
I mean, after the game, Francisco Lindor had a nice long interview with Chelsea Janes from SNY, and he talked about the fact that he's at least not bothered by some of these because he knows they're all coming from outside sources.
Yes.
And he was saying, if it was from inside, that would bother me. That is the part that is sticking with me a little bit because, again, if you truthfully, and I don't think this is true, I'm saying purely in the world of if you were trying to make a player possibly waive a no-trade clause, what you would do is alienate them, make them feel uncomfortable, make them feel like shit. And that would be what would happen with this media firestorm that's going on. And again, in a purely theoretical world, like we said before, the rest of Francisco Lindor contract is definitely a bit underwater. Like, you're probably not getting surplus value for the next 5 years from Francisco Lindor at $32 million a year.
And also, I think it's worth noting, too, the reason you're not getting that surplus value is because the value is so high. It doesn't mean that he won't be a valuable player. It just means that it's not going to align with the money that's paid.
$35 million worth.
He's going to play like a $20 million player as he gets older rather than $35 million.
And theoretically, in terms of shortstops in baseball, you'd want him to be like a 5 to 6 win player, which he has been consistently so far over the length of that contract to make that contract worthwhile. Again, neither here nor there. But maybe there probably was some kind of signal to the league, which, again, a big part of why this started up was the other day when it was like the same Chelsea Janes article where he was not listed as an untouchable.
Yes.
With a clearly underwater contract as a guy who's aging out of the shortstop position. If somebody wants to just, similar to Rafael Devers last year, take the entire contract, David Stearns, the Mets front office, probably listened to the conversation.
Yes.
That's definitely a part of this. But as we got, again, more updates the last few days. Ken Rosenthal, Will Salmon, Chelsea Janes, Bob Nightingale. The Mets are not going to pay down. The Mets are not paying Francisco Lindor to play against them.
No.
It was probably a thing where there were hairs of trade conversations, teeny tiny little crumbs around the league. Yeah, take his whole deal. No? Okay. No worries. We're just gonna keep paying it then. Conversation's probably ended right there, and it's
the fun conversation we used to have where it was like so and so is interested. I'm like, breaking news. I'm interested too. I'd love to have him on the team. Can I say we're the Mets?
What's Rihanna doing tomorrow?
Yeah, I'm interested.
100%. Of course not. But like, that's kind of where probably this was. It was probably very small conversations in the league that everyone knows in the league happen all the time. No big deal. You have them, they move on. The one time that was accepted was Rafael Devers, which didn't really work out for anybody.
Yeah, it turned out to be a catastrophe. Worked out for the Dodgers.
I mean, Red Sox are on fire still, but it's just become this weird media fire stick. And it's frustrating from Mets fans' perspective that people want to run a guy out of town who's been nothing but great to the organization, great on the field. Again, the one thing you want to knock about Francisco Lindor, if you can, is definitely locker room stuff. He's been a star player who's been here for 5 complete seasons, and the clubhouse has always seemed kind of weird.
Yes.
For sure. Whatever you want to say, that's the truth right there.
Some people aren't leaders that way.
And he's still a great baseball player. It's just really weird the way people want to run a guy out of town who's been this good. It really doesn't feel right in my stomach.
No, it feels like there's like ill will behind this stuff. It's very bizarre. And then hearing him talk about like his family and stuff too, and how like they are affected by this news. He is not. Of course. It's like, yeah, I mean, we're in a world, unfortunately, where no one gives a shit because once you're online, you can say stuff behind a fake username and a fake picture, and no one can know who you are. And I can guarantee you that his wife is getting just the most vile messages ever.
And all of you guys who are going to comment negatively on this, you're also going to be commenting from a fake username with a fake picture, saying all these horrible things that are completely unsubstantiated about Francisco Lindor, about politics or about personality, and none of them are true.
No. As a baseball player, that's what we look at him, and he's a damn good one. Has he played at the same level this year? No. It's been 40 games. Check what happens at the end of the year. If he has a 620 OPS, then we'll have a different conversation. But I'm not going to count out Francisco Lindor from a less than COVID season sample size. Luke Voigt hit the most home runs in Major League Baseball. It doesn't fucking matter.
Dom Smith, I think he might have got MVP votes.
Dom Smith definitely got MVP votes. Dom Smith played so well at the Mets, thought that he could be their outfielder the next season.
I was in some group chats being like, if you want to trade Pete right now, get max value. You got Dom Smith forever.
Crazy.
I take that back. But that's just, again, small baseball sample sizes don't matter, especially, Dom Smith got MVP votes, 13th in the MVP voting in 2020 on a 50-game sample.
Yeah, that's really
Lindor's
good.
only played 43 so far.
Kyle Lewis won the Rookie of the Year. He was out of baseball 2 years later.
It's just disgusting the way some Mets fans right now are talking about Francisco Lindor. It doesn't make any sense.
It's spoiled. It's like, it's not a place that I thought actually Mets fans would get.
But again, you could also, you could be completely forthright and understanding about where Francisco Lindor is in his career. He's a superstar on the back nine.
Yes.
I don't know how many more years he's going to be a plus value shortstop. I truthfully don't. That's fair. If next year the Mets bring up moving to second and he's really ornery about it, maybe this conversation should become more of a conversation. But we're not there. It's not happening right now. And the Mets don't even have something that looks like a shortstop within 2 levels in the organization.
That was my favorite thing. Shout out Jolly Olive, who was just replying to everybody on Twitter when they were saying to replace him. He's like, with who? Name one guy. They're like, find a stopgap. He's like, name him. Who? Say the name. And the name that people were listing, you saw Ha-Sung Kim, you saw Mauricio Dubon, you saw Jorge Mateo, you saw Hai-Sung Kim as well. Throw him in there. Luis Guillorme was thrown around. Jose Iglesias was thrown around. Fuck it, why not Zach Short? See if he can get out there.
100%. You got Cup. We can bring him right back.
Bring him right back. Why not? Finding shortstops is easy. Don't you remember the rich history of shortstops in the Mets history, James?
Do you guys really want to trade all of our prospect capital and get Mason Wynn with a 650 OPS?
You could, because I promise you, you will dislike Mason Wynn way more than you ever disliked Francisco Lindor for a second.
I mean, maybe for a reason, possibly it was a relative similarity, but
that same reason that you dislike both.
So you're trading Francisco Lindor, getting off the salary for nothing, just to get off salary because apparently we don't have enough money. Then you're trading some of your best prospects for Mason Wynn, who's entering arbitration, who's going to be at best a league average bat.
We can't be the fan base that bragged about giving Juan Soto the most money in sports history and then say Francisco Lindor, it's a little too much money, a little too rich for our liking.
The second Francisco Lindor signed that contract years ago, I was so grateful that this good of a player was going to be on the Mets.
Chose to be on the Mets.
If you guys don't remember, there was a really long road between David Wright and Francisco Lindor of genuine superstar major league players who were on this team. And then past that, I was like, you know what? The last 4 years of that deal when he was so good for the first 4, but it was an 8-year contract. But it was actually what? 7
It was 10 for
contract?
No, it was 10 for 341, wasn't it?
Yeah, 10 for 341.
Because Tatis was 10 for 340.
Yeah, he had to get $1 million more dollars. That's kind of the biggest bullshit that Tatis fucked this whole thing for us. Fucking AJ Preller and the Sidlers. But I was like, he's going to be such a funky second baseman for the last few years. That's going to be fun to watch a legend age out with our team.
I think in one of our first episodes after signing that contract extension, that is the literal conversation that we had, was you bringing up how you can't wait to watch Francisco Lindor be a plus second baseman.
And I think I said at the time, I was like, his contract ends at 37. All these other mega contracts are ending at 40. I was like, he's not going to be underwater at 37.
No, there's no
he's
shot.
Probably still going to be an above-average hitter and above-average second baseman defensively.
We're treating him like he's Dansby Swanson.
It's fucking bullshit the way Mets fans are treating him right now. It makes me really mad on a day-to-day basis how people are acting and talking about Francisco Lindor. It's fucking ungrateful bullshit.
No, it's frustrating. It's a group of fans that honestly, it's just, I can't believe that we've gotten there as the New York Mets for a team that shouldn't be... was the right word? Enticing that kind of fans. We don't win, so why are you here if you're going to be a spoiled brat?
Can I talk about another thing that I really don't wish we were talking about? Wish it didn't exist.
Oh, please do. What is that?
I feel like the Mets got dinged for some AI usage.
Oh yeah. Interesting. The Mets pitched well this weekend.
I can't do that. But so there was a report that came through, good reporting by Eno Saris and The Athletic, that a couple Major League Baseball teams were caught's not the right word, but just called out for using generative AI models for pitch calling.
Can't get caught if it's not illegal.
Yeah, and then Major League Baseball said that, kind of granular for a second, but we've had tablets in the dugouts for a long time now.
Yes.
probably like a decade, honestly. But there's always a certain amount of tabs that every single team has. And it's a lot of the same public-facing StatCast information that we all have when we watch games at home, if you want to be granular and dig deep like that. Pitch movement, velocity, sometimes even like swing path, like good video content.
Previous at-bats, yeah.
Yes, you could see exactly how you swung, your mechanics, all that stuff, a side view, which is beautiful. There was always a custom tab on these tablets, which was kind of teams to freewheel with whatever information they felt necessary or deemed important to them. They could put in that custom tab. And it came out that certain teams had built and purchased, had outside people build generative AI models to predict pitches or which pitches their pitcher should throw. And shout out to Malvino for calling out the fact that the Mets were at the forefront of this. The Mets were a team that were using a generative AI model to call pitches for them. And it's kind of funny because we had these tiny stories going through the beginning of the season that the Mets were a team that were going to call pitchers from the dugout.
Yes.
But it didn't really go past that. The Marlins were doing it openly, proudly, and people were talking about that.
Yeah.
And it didn't. Those stories never came about the Mets. Like we said before, people love talking about the Mets. Mets go into every single national story whenever they can. So it's weird that those stories never progressed. And then we got this from Ottavino on his YouTube channel this weekend.
Did you see the story on MLB banning the custom tab on the in-dugout iPad? Any thoughts? Yes, I knew about this for a while. The Mets were actually the main team that got cracked down on. They had an AI program that was very expensive, apparently, and they were bragging about it a little bit early on in the year. Some of the coaches that I know were talking about it from around the league, and they had basically an AI program helping them pick pitches, and I think some other stuff, but MLB got wind of it and nipped that right in the butt. So apparently they weren't the only team, but I knew about it from the Mets angle, which, they try to throw some money at the situation. Steve ponied up for, I think this program, from what I heard, was several $100,000 to have. But
when none of the big reporters, none of the big outlets put it out there, and it went mega viral on Twitter. Shout out Lazy Mary on there. Good Twitter account for Mets fan. But that was
bad.
That was something that went out. It was like, geez, what's going on here?
That gave me when I first saw it, I went, hey, yowza. Like, that was not something that I had hoped to have ever read or seen. Like, as good as AI has been for things in the world right now, bad, whatever your take is, we don't need to have that conversation. But, like, the way that AI is now being used in our world is more than ever. I do think one of the things that maybe it shouldn't have been used for is calling pitches from the dugout, just because, think about how many times this year me and you were like, weird pitch call. Like, why did they go with that? And I do think that, like, yes, if a guy struggles with fastballs, hopefully that would be able to pick up, we should throw up and into this guy, right? But we also know how shitty sometimes AI can be and how wrong it can be, and definitely not the most accurate or most perfect, even though there's tons and tons of data and stuff like that at its disposal. Pitching is so feel oriented. You should feel smart. You should do smart things. But in terms of sequencing and stuff like that, a lot of time, I do think you have to go with the vibe. It's one of the few times where I'm going to go old school and say the computers for telling you what pitch to throw and what count and where, I think that's a little too far.
I think so too. And I think a big part about baseball is the feel and the game. Understanding the pitcher on the mound versus the strengths of the batter. I think it's one of the best things about baseball is that determining whether, as a pitcher, you're going to use your strengths, you're going to attack a batter's weakness. That's kind of the beauty.
Cat and mouse.
It's the beauty of this entire game. Great tweet from Gabrielle Pena, G_Pena_NYY. ChatGPT, which pitch should I throw Jordan Alvarez? ChatGPT, honestly, four-seam fastball down the middle should do the trick. M-dash. It's often the last location disciplined power hitter expects in a big spot. An attacking zone can work to a pitcher's advantage. And it's a video of Jordan Alvarez hitting a 500-foot home run.
Yeah, and of course they're not using ChatGPT. Apparently, hundreds of thousands of dollars of generative AI models.
Apparently, a model that, we paid $100,000, hundreds of thousands of dollars
Which that person surely got fired, hopefully. That's a really bad... If you perpetuated that, that's tough.
Do you want to do it for like a few minutes right now? Just go into the fantasy ether and talk about this?
Yes, let's talk about it.
Do you think possibly from the finance hedge fund background, this was Steve Cohen being like, we have to find ways to add AI into this? Do you think this was David Stearns trying to be on the cutting edge? Do you think over this year specifically, it was Justin Willard as a new hire doing this? Like, how do you think this actually came to be? Because it's embarrassing.
I like to think that David Stearns has as little impact on in-game decisions as physically possible.
Yeah.
If there was ever a world where I could see his hands getting in on in-game decisions, I see this more than I did with the lineup. I think he would have perpetuated this maybe more than he would have like, we need to get Andy Ibanez at bats.
At worst, he would have had to have approved it.
Yes, like there is no doubt that David Stearns was very aware of what was going on, and whether it was his idea or not, there was an approval in place, and that is what like that's a stamp of approval. That means you're okay with it. You agree with the theory behind it. I do think that probably Justin Willard is someone who was super forward thinking on this as the young, kind of trying to break into the game before getting to the Mets pitching guy. And one of the things they talked about a lot was like being nasty in the zone, using pitches and attacking batters in ways that was a little bit different than we've heard a lot of pitching coaches talk about pitching recently. It was interesting. That being said, I don't think, and I think it's been proven too, I don't think the Mets are alone in this. I actually think it's probably not Steve Cohen. I think that you could get him with the buzzwords to pay for that. Hey, Steve, we're going to use a couple $100,000 to do this new generative AI thing. And because he's a finance bro, hedge fund guy, he goes, oh yeah, AI, great. We're using that all the time. It's got to be good.
How many stupid CEOs are doing the same thing and hurting their own companies with way less capital behind them?
Yeah, there are a lot of people. I mean, we get emails about this on our own personal thing in our email, like all the time from people clearly using AI. It's like it's an epidemic a little bit how much it's being used, but
it's a problem.
At the same time, the Mets obviously used it. That's clear. But I bet you the Tampa Bay Rays are using it. I bet you the Miami Marlins are using it. I bet you the Dodgers are using it. The Milwaukee Brewers. I've got a really good feeling that all the teams that you would expect are also using it. It's just that the Mets, which would also make sense, probably didn't use it in the best way.
And the comment from Ottavino, they were bragging to people about how good their model was.
That's interesting. I also do think that I'm getting a little bit of scorn from Adam Ottavino about how his tenure ended.
A little bit?
Just a little bit. Yeah.
Just a little bit of scorn? Yeah.
I like Ottavino, but it does feel like there's an agenda.
No, definitely. It also just plays with how Mets this season's been to add this little cherry on top. When this news came out, just peek behind the curtain for you guys on Friday, Mark and I were talking about thumbnailing, headlining this episode with this. So much other bullshit happened with Lindor that we're like, whatever. We're gonna squeeze it into the end. But my question again is, where were the beat about this?
Well, James, you don't understand. The beat's not about reporting anymore or doing any journalistic finding. It's about creating rumors, gossip. It's tabloids now. The beat is not, shout out Will Salmon because he's not like that. Shout out the legit beat writers. But a lot of people now, because it is more competitive than ever, they're fighting for clicks. They're fighting for this. And that would have taken a lot of research and doing a lot of work on the side and probably taking it home when you could just say, I think the Mets are going to trade Francisco Lindor. Someone in the organization told me it was the security guard, but someone in the organization told me.
It even took the Associated Press to report on this and talk to Andy Green about it, and we still didn't get so much firm stuff from the beat, which is crazy if this thing was happening, which again plays into the idea that we had that a lot of other teams are doing this. Actually, not that big of a deal. It's just good for clicks right now. And again, it's a scoring to Adam Ottavino being outward about it, but it's just another thing on top of this whole thing. And weird that the story about the Mets calling pitchers from the dugout wasn't more so through spring training early in the season.
What, you could ask more questions, James? You could just make up a trade rumor.
The context of this organization it has to be so fascinating.
It's got to be exhausting. David Stearns has got to feel like not only shit because his job he hasn't done a great job, but he's got to be like, holy fuck, what did I sign myself up for?
It's just, again, sign myself up for running a baseball team, which is a great job.
I think Juan Soto feels.
I think Juan Soto goes out there every single day and has great at-bats.
He really does. He's so good.
Dude, on Sunday, him versus Yohan Duran, I'm watching it on my phone while watching the World Cup final.
Cinema.
This is great baseball here. Like watching him buzz fastballs, like watching Soto lay off some tough breaking balls outside the zone. Like this is what it's all about. And sadly, it's not what it's all about with this Mets team.
Juan Soto, not a top 50 player though in Major League Baseball right now.
Who would have ever said that?
Wait, you didn't see this?
No.
Oh, CBS Sports dropped an article ranking the top 50 players in baseball right now. Juan Soto was 49th.
Oh, this is so stupid.
He was behind a bunch of DHs. They cited the fact that he doesn't play particularly great in the field and he's just a bat.
I would say right now he's probably closer to first.
Than he is 49th? Yes, 100%.
Yeah, I think by a lot. I think there's an argument that he's still the best player in baseball at this moment because of Aaron Judge being injured and Shohei Ohtani not pitching.
That PCA MVP call is looking pretty good right now.
PCA looks nice right now. PCA looks good. I'm excited for the rest of the season besides the Mets. Dude, Friday night, every Friday I have my recap shift for NBC where I get assigned 4 games. I recap all of them. What a blessing to not have the Mets.
It's so nice.
Dude,
I love now Mets on Friday.
I was ripping Marlins Brewers. Talk about baseball.
What a game. What a game.
Amazing.
Extra. So good.
Garrett Mitchell, multiple amazing catches, 9th and 10th innings.
Made him look easy.
And then ripping the winning single with 2 strikes. I was like, this is why the game should be played. Not this horrible pygmy team in Queens.
Such good baseball. I sent you so many things also, I'm realizing, over the last few days. Some media marvels that we didn't get a chance to talk about. A lot of stuff coming out of Fanatics Fest.
Fanatics Fest.
That place. That feels like hell on earth, truthfully.
If you guys pay $200 to go to Fanatic Fest, if you think you got what you want out of it, great. I will not shit on the hobby. It's a good hobby, I think. But there's so much weird stuff that happens at Fanatics Fest.
Derek Jeter chirping Mets fans about Pete Alonso is super interesting. Shout out, I think Master Flip retweeted a video from January 21st where Steve Gelbs was saying that the Mets are true World Series contenders with a true ace in Freddie Peralta. Very different than his tone was after Carlos Mendoza got fired. It's crazy how two-faced everybody is. And then, I mean, just like the back and forth stuff. This has nothing to do with the Mets. I forgot about this one. The LeBron James comment about the MLB salary cap. It's one of the craziest I've ever seen in my life on Twitter.
I do think, it's one of my favorite things ever. I just learned about recency bias, my favorite thing ever in the world.
Yeah.
For
nice.
For 30 years, basically between the Yankees and the Dodgers, baseball was absolutely the most parody of any sport in the league.
Yeah.
We didn't have a repeat champion in 25 years.
Well, what you don't know, James, is that the NBA hasn't had one in 8 years, but definitely don't look at the teams that made the finals.
And also definitely don't look what happened the 10 years before that. And again, NBA changed their entire system. And something that a lot of people who really are rallying for the salary cap right now is that the teams that develop their own players can keep their homegrown players. So don't look what happened this offseason in the NBA when Jaylen Brown got traded because Brad Stevens said, we just can't afford both the guys we drafted.
Giannis Antetokounmpo, with the organization that even gave him a chance, was like, I want to get the fuck out of here.
If there's a league right now, if I was Rob Manfred and I didn't want to become, it would definitely be the NBA.
Yeah, they got absolutely bailed out by the fact that Wemby, who's a superstar, got to go up against the most popular team arguably in the world in the New York Knicks in basketball. It's crazy.
Himself.
Yeah, and embarrass himself. It was great TV.
No, but it's just we're gonna have a lot of time in a few months to talk about labor negotiations.
And it's guys like Francisco Lindor who are ruining the game because they're getting paid too much money and they're gonna turn old.
God, it's so fucking stupid. It's so fun. It makes me so fucking mad. All right, quickly playing the Brewers. Preview the Brewers series this coming week.
Brewers series. Oh, nice.
Really, really fun. We almost had the matchup everybody was waiting for. It still might, depending on how the match work out their
Jacob
rotation.
Mizorowski?
No. Freddie Peralta, Brandon Sproat.
Oh, God.
As of right now, the way it has been rescheduled out is that Mizorowski is going to pitch after his bout with fatigue for the Brewers on Monday, 7:40. Bit of an ace-off. Freddie Peralta versus Jacob Mizorowski.
Boy.
Tuesday, 7:40. Him versus her. Zach Thornton versus Brandon Sproat. And then Wednesday matinee, Christian Scott and Logan Henderson. But Logan Henderson also had a forearm cramp, so we'll still see about him on Wednesday as well.
He's got a very fragile body, Logan Henderson.
I really wish it wasn't so, because he's such a fun pitcher to watch. It pisses me off how hurt he gets.
It's like he's got a fragile body. That being said, do you see the rumors about Freddie Peralta? The Brewers really might want him back. I got a great idea for a trade back.
Brandon Sproat.
Brandon Sproat. You can still keep Jet.
Keep Jet. Well, we're fine if you want arbitrage off us, but it's again, you know what that tells us? There's a market.
There is a market, and that's really good for the Mets.
Yeah, this Brewers team is an absolute complete fucking wagon.
This is the best version of them that they've had.
They swept the Marlins this weekend, my Miami Marlins.
They really sunned them.
But all 3 games was bullpen bullshit for the Marlins. The Marlins had losses from relievers in all 3 of the games. The Sunday, which was the worst of all, Pete Fairbanks blowing another save. We're talking about the Marlins. I should be talking about the Brewers. This Brewers team is completely relentless. They have relievers, starters, position players, guys at the bottom of the lineup. Joey Ortiz. You want to talk about a guy that would have ended his baseball career if he was in New York? Joey Ortiz.
Oh my God, he'd be Anthony Volpe.
He came up from a bout in the minor leagues, and he's now playing third base. He got relegated off of shortstop for Cooper Pratt. Now he's playing third. He made a little swing change. He's getting to more power. He still is statistically one of the worst hitters in baseball in last 2 years by far. Brewers fans chant his name when he comes to the plate.
Brewers are going to play him every single day. He's going to be one of the most played players in baseball over the last 2 years.
The Brewers were dying for a depth infielder, and they've been rotating between all these guys this year, and Joe Williams still hasn't gotten a shot at the major leagues. But the team is just absolutely unstoppable. It felt like they kind of hit this jet stream after that sweep with the Mets last year.
Yes.
When the Mets made tons of defensive miscues and all the nonsense they did in that series last year in Milwaukee.
Yeah, no, the Brewers are just so ridiculously good. Keep an eye out for Luis Lara. He's their new prospect that's came up. They paid him already, so he's going to be there for a while. He is one of the best pure athletes in the entire sport. He runs like absolute fucking lightning.
He's fast. He's a great defender. He made a bad play in the outfield one of his first few games, but he's still a tremendous defender. And the Brewers do this thing where they have 3 center fielders playing in the outfield. He's one of them. They just have guys. It never ends.
It is impressive to see how well built of an organization they have, and imagine if they spent another $40-50 million. They would be legit World Series contenders, and I think they are legit World Series contenders right now. I think they're going to give the Dodgers a good run for their money, and especially if they get Freddie Peralta.
Especially if they get Freddie Peralta, especially if Mizraski's 100% healthy, especially if what's his name, Kyle Harrison comes back from injury. Just a few guys I want to shout out. One of our favorites, Garrett Mitchell.
Oh, yeah.
For the last 30 days, he has been one of the best hitters in baseball with 900 OPS and playing tremendous defense in center field. We talked about Cooper Pratt. He hasn't really gotten it together yet at the big league level, but he's a complete fucking pest in the box. You can't strike him out. Jackson Churrio's taking a step forward offensively. Jake Bauers. The Brewers nursed Jake Bauers along for 3 years, and now all of a sudden Jake Bauers is an elite hitter. I can't believe that shit happened. Like, Chad Patrick has gotten relegated from being a starter into a swingman role. He just shows up for 40 pitches. He throws nonstop fastballs, and he lights people up.
Yeah, he's the fastball's electric out of the pen. Crazy.
It's unreal. It's kind of annoying to watch how good they are.
No, they're jealous of them except for their money.
You got anything else fun about the Brewers?
What else could I have fun about the Brewers? I love Abner Uribe. It's one of my favorite players to watch pitch in the entire league. He is going to shoot a fake gun at the New York Mets when he strikes them out. And just be prepared, Mets fans, because he is going to absolutely embarrass us when he's on the mound.
And the Brewers have a very underwater contract right now. Christian Yelich, he can't play the field. He's got a bad back. Can't even really hit right now.
No, but no rumors of trading him, huh?
I mean, I guess I'm like someone who's going to take the contract. They would, if we offered Francisco Lindor for Christian Yelich, they'd take that in a heartbeat.
What do you think he voted for, though? That's really important.
Honestly, Christian Yelich, probably Kamala,
Maybe
if I had to guess. But Frankie Peppers sends us home.
Yeah, Frankie Peppers sends us home.
Here comes Frankie.
Gentlemen, this is Frankie Peppers. How you doing? It's been a minute. I hope you had a nice All-Star break where you didn't have to watch this baseball team, but I think they also did not mind having to watch that baseball team because these Mets played pretty good this series. Can't complain. Mr. Nolan McLean looked wonderful. Beautiful game for A.J. Ewing today on Sunday. Really good. I'm sick, so it was a nice game to feel a little bit better. So what my hot take is that you shouldn't get sick because it sucks. So tell me about your favorite time you got sick, like when you stayed home from school and watched The Price is Right. All right, gentlemen, hope you're doing well. I'll talk to you soon. Let's go, Mets.
Oh, I actually do have a favorite time I got
do
sick
as
staying
well,
home from
yeah.
school. I had such a bad flu. I want to say it was my sophomore year of high school. I got sick from, was it freshman or sophomore? I got really sick from the Patriots kicking the shit out of the Jets on Monday Night Football that time.
That's
like
good.
50-0. It was. I went to school the next day. I was like, something is wrong, and I developed like 100 whatever fever. I went Wednesday, Thursday, Friday out of school. Both my parents were at work. When I was always playing video games, I was relegated to the downstairs TV. I said relegated like 9 times this podcast. So the word I say like 12. It's the words I say every podcast. I was like, fuck it. I brought the PlayStation upstairs.
Nice.
And I played 2K My Player. I built a career in 3 days in front of that television on the big TV. And it was a treat.
That's a good one. I remember, I think I was like maybe 10, 11, 12. My PS2 broke on my birthday, and I was sick home from school. And being at school when you're in elementary school on your birthday, you're the king of the world. That's like the best day on the entire planet. And I remember being sick, and then my dad just like going out and being like, for your birthday, I got you a new PlayStation 2. And I was like, oh, I can be home all day and play my new PlayStation 2. And I went from the big fat one to the real thin, slim one. I was like, this is an all-time day. I'll never forget it.
I also have some funny tweets I want to read.
We're an hour in. Go until your camera dies.
We're good. The window's open. It's a
It is
cool
a
night.
beautiful night, actually.
That's what I'm saying. We're chilling. I put out a funny tweet on Friday night about Pete Alonso chasing a foul ball and just running into the umpire, bowling him over.
Love him.
I miss him a lot. I miss him. I really miss him
Every
sometimes.
day.
Someone, my caption was, sometimes I really miss him. And an angry Mets, Giants, Knicks fan replied to me, sometimes, 3 exclamation points, I miss him every day of my life. It's a hole in my life that will never be filled. I will never forgive David Stearns for it. There's no logic in having the franchise homegrown guy with 40 home runs, 120 RBIs leave. You were scared to give him a long-term contract.
Is this so funny how when Pete declined the extension that was offered to him years ago, everyone hated his fucking guts.
Yeah,
Now when the Mets didn't pay him more money over a shorter period of time, everyone hates the Mets guts. You kind of just can't win, it seems like, in this city, which is why hopefully the players just tune everything out.
Just don't listen to anybody. Dude, I even tweeted about Colson Montgomery over the weekend.
Don't
It
even
wasn't
listen
even
to us.
derogatory. I was just saying, like, I was crazy. He's 40 home runs and only an 800 OPS. The White Sox fans heard my replies. Yeah, what do you think about Francisco Lindor right now? I was like, I didn't know that was part of the conversation.
Well, don't you know you can't have an opinion on anything else because you are a Mets fan, James.
Ah, shit's so
The
stupid.
Cap conversation with me, I was like, I'm sorry, Pirates fans, your owner sucks. They're like, you fucking suck. I'm like, what? How did I become the problem here?
It's fun though. It's nice. It's a nice life. Besides for the Mets sucking ass.
Yeah, it was great. No complaints. And
Not at
that's
all.
how we're going to wrap up the podcast now because I want to enjoy the rest of the night. Thank you guys for listening. Thank you for watching. Subscribe to Mets'd Up over on YouTube if you're listening to us. Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google. Drop us a rating, drop us a review, download, and subscribe. You can follow James on social media at
James Shiano.
I'm Draft Nick Mark. We'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace out.
Peace out, guys. Let's go Mets.